I'm Kris Lillegard. I race motorcycles. I win.
This shit's fire.
What is up, everybody? It feels good to be back to Pin the Gas Podcast Season 2. We are starting. This is how you know we've been taking forever, because my hair is way longer than what it is last time. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about myself, Cool Jules, Kris, the show, Simko, and technically making his second appearance because the first one got scrapped. Kicking off Season 2 with the man himself, Killer Kris, the Texas Wildcard, Lillegard. What's good? Ooh.
Oh, the weather's good.
The weather's good. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because some shit was happening in Florida.
Oh, man, I know it.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Can't tell
hurricane.
from the spicy sushi we just had, or the day of cold, windy weather. I got rid of it.
Oh, man. But it's nice over there in H-Town.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, that's freaking sick. Another fellow Houstonian. For those who don't know, I am also from Houston, now living in New York. I sometimes wish I could come back, but we know that's not going to be the reality of it. Now, Kris, you are probably one of the most winningest guests that we have. Because last time you were here with the podcast that got scrapped, we saw like so much metals that I can make a train out of it if we melted it. Now, you've accomplished so much, and I kind of want to just give you this floor again, and just kind of explain who you are and what you've done, where you're from. As long as you love me. Backstreet Boys? Nope.
Man. Well, I've done some stuff and some things. You know, we just got done winning. Last year we won the Weir Endurance, National Endurance, and won a R7. And raced it this year. That was fun. We also won the championship for the ultra lightweight on the 400. So that was cool.
My man.
You know, and we
just winning.
You know, we went
Just winning.
Pikes Peak, and we've done some Moto America stuff and had some fun.
So just
things like that on a budget.
just simply winning. That's
Yeah,
it.
just winning. That's all. That's what we do.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh man.
I was gonna say with Killer Kris and the intro that you guys probably just saw, it literally started with "I'm Kris Lillegard. I win races."
Yeah. Right. I mean,
Awesome.
in case we forgot.
Yeah, right. That's
In
what we
case you
do.
forgot, he wins everything. He can't beat me in MotoGP on Xbox though.
Nope.
I'll
I can't play video games. I tried it, bro. I can't do it. I'm one of those guys. I am.
You tried it. Which one?
I can't
Which
do
one did you
any of
try?
them. I used to be able to play Mario Brothers and all that stuff, but now I'm like,
Super Nintendo.
Now, the show can agree with me. Those MotoGP games are out of this world difficult. Like, it is insanely
Absolutely.
hard.
oh yeah.
Like, I feel like it's a lot easier. Pardon me for saying this. I feel like it's a lot more easier to understand physically riding than playing the video game.
Right.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
You know, I can't even play James Bond anymore. He's all pointed in the air. I'm like, come back down, bro. You know? Well, yeah, I try to do it on speed. That's not a good idea.
No, I break shit.
What the hell? You know, trying to play the game.
What about the new Call of Duty that came out, man? You ever played any Call of Duties?
I played a little bit at the beginning of it, but it was military days. Everybody was, had it all set up, and I just played on that stuff.
Right.
I was chasing chicks in cafe shops,
Absolutely.
Like, excuse me, miss. I ditched the Call of Duty to actually talk to a real woman.
Right.
How are you?
Right.
Oh, and need I mention, I win races.
Right.
Now, Pikes Peak. Just tell the viewers like what Pikes Peak is, what your experience is doing that. Because I saw the onboard footage and I was like,
blown away.
Hell no.
Blown away, Chris. Amazing job.
Well, at least it wasn't windy up there because you might get blown away up there. It's an gnarly race. You know, you never know what's going to happen. You know, animals come across, weather hits. You know, we had an ice storm the night before. We had to like delay the race. Carlin Dunn, you know, he passed, but he was the guy who went up and did the scouting for us that year and said, you know, you can't, you know, give it a little longer because there's ice here, there's ice there, there's water here. So we waited another 30 minutes before we started. And I mean, it's always a surreal experience up there. Perfect weather, you know, like Colorado weather. Down in the city is super sunny and warm. And then when you get up to where the starting area is, it's freezing. And then you get to the very top, it's all ice, you know, and hail in it or something. So,
Cold. Yeah.
You get to experience the seasons up there.
That's it. All seasons. So, Chris, what's the difference in bike setup between running like Pikes Peak versus a closed road circuit?
Well, see, that's me personally. I don't do a lot of bike setup and stuff because when I was in Italy, they did all that stuff for me. So I came back and I've had to pick it up on my own, right? So I just put the suspension. I got Michael Barnes' suspension back when he raced Viagusa, and I took that and just bolted it on. Essentially, you know, I didn't really know. I just put it on and rode with that. So
and won.
Over the years, I picked up more
and won.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I picked up why adjusting is important and stuff because you know up there you don't run. You go 12 miles, so you don't really tear the tires up or anything. So you can't really tell.
I got you.
You know, if it's shredded or whatever. So now, though, since then I've been, you know, coaching and stuff and doing a lot more, getting the riders further along my racers and stuff. And so now I know what we're looking for them. And you know, the Gears Racing Company helps me out, and they build any shock for me that I need. So now with them, I've figured out, you know, the feel versus what it takes to make that feel better, you know, like how to put the feel into words so that way we can understand what we need to do to the bike to make it better. And that was something that was never really taught to me ever. I had to pick it up on the way. There was no dad or mom or anybody involved, you know, to try to get me the guys. And I just came back from the military and did it all on my own. I had a broken back when I came back, and two vertebrae were crushed down, and then I dislocated femur, you know, not too long before that. So I was pretty weak as a core body to ride, but I mean I still did it, and I knew I could get away from it, so I got right back into it, and you know,
and won.
And won.
Yeah.
That's the one.
The one thing that I know with me is a lot of people, because I come off, you know, fun guy, goofing around, having a good time, telling jokes and stuff, and all the other guys are so serious, get their hat all flat, and they're angry about stuff. Yeah, they're all. Yeah.
No, they do. Right?
You don't see, not inviting. You can't talk to them, you know. And I'm like, dude, whatever. But those guys don't like to admit that I win all the time. But they don't like it. But they don't like it.
You've been blessed with the mama butter.
For real, we'll toot your own horn for you. Like I have no problem going around and be like, yo, we have Kris Lillegard, bro. He wins races. What do you do?
You see this right here, right? Y'all see this right here.
Yeah, right.
Y'all see this right here.
Oh, go ahead.
Y'all see this right here.
Speak Italian. I mean, you do all kinds of stuff, you know, fluently.
He speaks Italian and he wins at speaking Italian. So I don't
win-win situation.
Right. That's why I put the flag that you get at the top of the mountain. I put that in the front of the RV, so when I pull it in, you know, that way they, you know, alarm.
They already know. They already know.
Yeah, they know who it is.
Yeah.
With the you said Colorado, right? Pikes Peak is Colorado. So the elevation, the shortness of breath, like what was like the physicality of it? Because not only is Colorado like higher elevation, but you're even more up there. So it must have been extremely
right
hard to
here
breathe.
where I'm at right now, I should be underwater because we're right here at the store, you know, pretty much. And any big rain, it'll let you know. Yeah, I have asthma, so everything's a factor, right? So I get up there,
Right.
and it's like just being in Colorado
shit.
Springs, and if I do anything, you know, unload the bikes and stuff, I can feel it. But then getting up on the start-finish line area is like 7,000 feet. It's either 7 or 9. No, it's 9,000 feet at the start-finish line. So already it's hit, and then at the top is 14,000 feet. So, I mean, the first
big change.
year I just showed up. And then the second year, I stayed a little bit, a couple weeks before. But the third year, I went up like a month earlier. And we raced in like High Plains Raceway and did an endurance race and won that. You know, on the super bike.
Oh, yeah. Just
Right,
won
right.
that
Just
one.
shut up
as
one.
well.
You know,
Right.
that's what I do. That's what I do.
So we did that, and then went to Pueblo, won some races there. My buddy Hammer, he got me up there, and he's, you know, he wasn't expecting it, but he's the one who invited me, and I beat him. So, you know,
Shout out to Hammer.
yeah, but we got it.
I won at that too.
The bet was if I win, he puts his syndicate sticker on my bike. If I win, he puts his drop sticker on his bike. And if he wins, I put syndicate sticker on my bike. So I put one on there for him for just to be nice. But you know, because he's my boy.
Oh,
It's like,
I
oh.
love it.
But yeah, it's crazy. But like elevation up there is legal in Colorado.
Yeah.
It's really,
Elevation is
Is it
legal
really?
in Colorado.
is it really now? It's also legal over here.
You're in New York, though. Is it?
You're in New York,
okay.
yeah. And you smell it everywhere you go. You need a hearing aid for how loud it is.
Right. But yeah, man, Pike Peak was a great race. It's just so fast. It's the race. 10 minutes, you know, it's over. So then you just sit there and wait.
It's intense.
You know, you know, next year hopefully everything goes well and we do the newcomers race at the 100th anniversary of Isle of Man, or the Manx GP, and if we win that, then we got the 100th at Pikes Peak, we got the 100th at Isle of Man, and so hopefully somebody call me, ride their stuff, you know. If not, then I'll just stay here and coach, bring my kids up.
So,
He said,
so tell us
if
about
we
the
win.
Isle of Man adventure, Chris.
Yeah, well, I've had a bunch of people tell me, like a buddy of mine that raced Pikes Peak with me a bunch of times. He knows me well, and he's like, dude, I think you'll win that one, so you might as well try it, you know. So
You never know.
You've been winning everything else anyway.
Might as well.
I was supposed to do it for the last 3 years, but 2019
COVID and all that.
Yeah, we were 19. We were on full season of Moto America, so took away from being able to do that. And then the other 2 years, you know, or last 3 years, I guess now, have been kind of scrubbed because of the whatever is happening. I don't even want to talk about it.
Right.
To be honest with you, whatever that was.
I know that's right.
I'm not hearing too much about it. But
Yeah.
Some shit like that.
Yeah. So,
There's always something new.
Yeah.
It is.
it is too.
It
Yeah.
is.
And forget about
But
the
you know
other
what?
stuff.
And
We're still winning.
That's right.
and
That's what
we're still
matters.
winning. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
We're still winning.
Yeah. So you can't forget that part.
They won't.
Can't do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what and like it sucks. It sucks that like shit like that just gets in the way of like everyone's process in terms of like
Right.
working and accomplishing the goal. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to get too political about it, but there's so many like COVID cases, news variants that like I'm
They're not even
scared
adding
anymore.
up. They're not adding up at all. And then now other
No.
people getting sick because of it, because of their preparations for it. And like, oh, yeah, we just had a 4-time Superbike champion in British Superbike or something like that just passed on, right? Like drop
Yeah.
dead. Like,
Keith,
Yeah.
Keith Armour.
like what is going on?
You know,
I don't know. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, why would good athletes, top of their class, be getting sick like that? You know,
at so young, 35 years old. I mean, come on.
right? How
Yeah, it's
scary.
insane. And while we're on that note, I actually want to shout out. This is just for me, and because it's a public platform, I guess I'll say it here. Speaking of losing an athlete, we just lost one today in at UFC. His name is Anthony Rumble Johnson, and he's one of the most exciting, explosive, hardest hitting motherfuckers you'll ever see fight. And I think he's from Texas. Probably. I don't know. I'd have to double check that. But like we lost him too,
probably.
Probably
because he eats
probably.
Yeah, right.
Because he eats that monkey.
Gotta have collagen for breakfast.
Yeah, and Anthony Rumble, man, like we lost him too, and he was one of my favorites to watch too. He was long retired. He was teasing a comeback, but this dude hits like an 18-wheeler truck. So like, you know, RIP Rumble, love you, man. But yeah, so like with all of that, it just kind of like derails the progress that everybody wants to make, and I'm just like, come on, like there's so many things. The world is opening back up-ish kind of again. Yeah. So it gives you Killer Kris just more to do now.
See, here's the thing, though. We don't know what we lost because they gave us back so many things. We're not sure exactly what they took. So hopefully, you know, we're still getting to do what we want to do. That's good. And hopefully it continues. I was supposed to race a bunch of hill climbs last year and the year before in Italy. There's like a circuit that does like Pike Speed hill climb. And I got a great team waiting on me over there, and they have all the, and this is something I didn't have, but they have all the secrets that I might need to be able to use to get up the mountain fast. And you know, over here we got a bike from the Batman vs Superman movie. It was just a prop bike in his garage.
Right.
So like when Batman pulled in, you know, he was riding the dragster, and then there was 3 other bikes in there. The one with the dirt bars, that's the one that's in the house right now.
Nice.
Oh, for real?
Dude, that's awesome.
So, both stocks, you know, we added a little bit of like a ram air tube. We took some stuff off of it, made like a little ram air tube, maybe get a little air in there. And then all I did was put like a $350 Kindle slip on that I had just laying around, and Michael Barnes' suspension, and it took off.
And won.
Yeah, it won.
So,
it won. It was
so
like
you
seconds ahead.
You gave it some cheap steroids.
Too easy.
You know.
Jeez, it seems everything you touch, you win. Do you mind as well? Do you mind like touching my bank account, maybe,
I can win it, that's fine.
or a lotto ticket?
Right. If I can win it.
If you give me a lotto ticket and I win, you'll get a cut of it.
I'm down.
Because he keeps winning. He just keeps winning.
That is
now. But before I hand over the floor to the show, the bike that you won Pikes Peak with, what brand of bike was it?
It was a 675. We were racing the middleweight class, and the middleweight class was 675 up to like 700 something, and now it's like, now they're in the 800. I could have taken the 800 in the middleweight class, which would have been even easier because I had more grunt out of the corners than, you know, the 675. Right. But yeah, it was a stellar machine. I never started it since. I haven't done anything. I drained all the fuel out, and I just set it in the house on display with the, you know, the gravel in the belly pan from up there, and the blown fork seal from the little whoop section right before the end of the race. You can see where the camera goes crazy. It was super slick there, and it blew a fork seal. So that's just sitting there at the house right now on display. You know, Barbara wants it, and a couple other people have talked about it, but whenever it becomes the right situation, you know, monetarily is one thing, and where it's going to be on display. You know, I wish Barbara would give me a little more so I could put it on display there. I got like the leather, and the helmet, and the flag, and the hay bale that I, in practice, that I, you know, when we were playing with those cassette transmissions and missing gear, trying to downshift or whatever, and snagged the hay bale and drug it across the track. I just stayed on the throttle and took it with me, and they thought somebody had jumped off the mountain. They didn't know what happened with the hay bale, you know. So, and I didn't think to tell them because I didn't know I grabbed it and took it with me. I had no idea. I was looking up.
Right.
So.
And Barber is lowballing you for it?
They wanted it. Like the weekend I came down, they wanted it, but it was like a third of what I got into it. I'm like, man. First of all, Batman vs Superman,
Barber.
Spicy. Like, come on, dude, you know?
Right.
You know, but apparently a lot of people just donate their stuff to Barber. They don't probably ever give any money out. So I'm supposed to be, like, you know, grateful.
Donating it.
Well, grateful that I even got an offer. So I'm all right. I'm grateful, but
man, you know what I'd say at that point? Grateful doesn't pay for my food, bro.
Grateful don't win.
What do I get for winning, bro? You know, come on.
That's it. Grateful don't win.
Yeah, exactly.
Grateful don't win.
Exactly.
I mean, look at freaking Look at wait, who's probably one of the worst riders in MotoGP right now?
Franco Morbidelli.
Look at
poor guy.
yeah, but I can't pick on
No, we can't pick on
I know him
Franco.
personally.
Maverick.
You're
Let's
right.
pick on Maverick. It's so easy to pick on Maverick.
We can't pick
Maverick's
on Franco.
grateful.
Oh, no.
He is.
Maverick's grateful to have a seat,
Maverick is grateful.
but grateful don't win races.
Grateful don't win races.
Franco, I got their team a pit bike. I guess it was 2019 or 18 or something. One of my buddies had a Aprilia scooter, and they were looking for a ride, a scooter. They needed one, so I got it set up for them. And man, they gave me all kinds of stuff from the paddock box, which is cool, So I can't
That's awesome.
I can't complain. Some of the cool stuff that you can't get, So
Right.
most of it's either,
Once in a
yeah,
lifetime.
most of it's either in the RV waiting to go to another event, or it's in here right now at this place.
Mhm.
So
Nice.
this is the prop shop.
Yeah. I was actually gonna ask.
So
Prop
this
shop.
is the KK47
Love
racing
it.
side, and the prop shop's on the other side of that wall right there. I mean, normally the RV goes in
Sheesh.
here. So this is like a 50-foot by 30-foot, and the RV fits over there. But I've got I don't know. We can take a tour.
Yeah, let's take a tour, Chris.
Yes. Wow. A Pin the Gas podcast tour.
We got some minis up
Look at
front.
that.
We got some gear suspension on
Oh,
the
we got some
table.
gear suspension. We got a gear section over
There
here.
you go.
You know.
Shout out to
Oh,
Gears.
yeah.
We got a free mic for Cool
We
Jules.
got all kinds of stuff, man. We got
That's it.
We got a candle company that's been behind me. It's my girl's candle company, and those have actually been in the Oscar baskets for a couple years, and bunch of
Nice.
big celebrities that have had them at the
Dude,
weddings,
that's
and
sweet.
things like that. And Wilson.
God damn.
This is my R7.
There's a sex machine
This
right
is
there.
my R3.
Yeah.
So I rent both of these out right now as it sits. I rent it
Okay.
by CC, so you can do the math. And I rent this one
Yep.
too by CC, but this is a Olin's Superbike and Olin's rear Superbike shock and Marcinisi rims and stuff like that. This one I just pulled out to get all freshened up now that I've got lifts, and I can do that. So
Nice.
this will be another rental
Damn.
bike here. This is I will rent, but I'm trying to sell it soon. I traded it. Yeah,
That's a RC,
yeah,
right?
RC 390.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the good one too, so it's
Yeah.
fast. But then I got this guy, 2000 R1.
Nice.
Yeah,
God.
it's immaculate shape. It's been it's been stored for a while, so I need to polish the frame again. But it's all ready to go.
She's a beauty. Yeah.
That's a
Freaking
2000. So
gorgeous.
it's been a while it's been around for a while. It's got the flat side car.
There she is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's carbureted,
It's
right?
It's the drag bike setup, so it's got cans and flat slide carbs and all that stuff. So it's a monster. And then you gotta have your
Oh my
150
goodness.
drag bike that beats everybody. That thing's fast. And
Yeah.
a couple of little minis,
The KT,
for the road track. And this is my
yeah.
all-time favorite
Sheesh.
bike. It's got the 175 big bore on the 150 setup, so it goes anywhere.
Nice.
This is my little trials bike, my workout bike.
Yeah.
Nice.
A workout
And,
bike.
Of course, the Grom is there, and then
The Grom.
my buddy
Grom's-
Bryce. He's got a couple mini bikes here that he's donated to the track, so we can have
Have fun.
making a run. Yeah, going around the track for track
That's right.
walks and whatnot.
Yeah.
He comes out here and he does a bunch of stunting and stuff. But yeah, the blue carpet over there is Valentino Rossi and Maverick Vinales is from 2018, and this is
Nice.
Holy
this
shit.
is Alex Espargaro's pit stuff from this year.
Nice.
So yeah, so
God,
it was
dude.
great. We're throwing the place
I'd
together.
make love on
I
that
hadn't had a
carpet.
chance to mess with it. I don't know.
I would legit have my first child on that carpet.
I would roll around butt naked on that Rossi
I
carpet.
was thinking about getting
Yeah, just Chris is rolling around the carpet,
No
and then
bullshit.
once he sees the elation carpet, he's like,
Nope, can't touch it.
before the visual. Yeah, right.
"You don't deserve me."
I was thinking about cutting in like foot by foot square sections and getting like a Valentino Rossi signed, like autograph brand, and just burning the brand and just
Stand
selling them all.
Oh, Brent.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Oh,
Right?
that's fire. That's fire. I mean,
You wouldn't
shit,
want
you
that on
win
their
at that,
desk, you know,
man.
right?
Not right.
That's fire.
I want it
That's
on my
fire.
desk.
Damn,
Yeah, right.
smell it
Yeah.
too. Like have like a little
You gotta
air
make some
tube.
money somehow.
That's it. Got to make it somehow. Got to stay winning.
Then we got
Show you got any questions for our
Yeah,
boy?
I got a ton of questions. My first one is, why don't you tell everybody, Kris, about your training program for up-and-coming riders and how they get involved with you?
Okay, yeah. So, I'm the coach out here at MSR Houston. I'm their coach. And I coach at other tracks. I mean, I've been all around. Pretty much everybody lets me do my job there. So my goal is to start the racer, get them. A lot of them come in already at the track and see them there. And you can see they're struggling. And so then they're, either they or their dad or somebody comes up and talks to me because they know me already, or I'll just pick them up out there at the track if somebody I don't know, and we'll start talking. And the goal is to get them faster but safe. Like get the foundation built right, because there's a lot of people that don't know that you need to use the rear brakes. You need to when you're up there with everybody else.
You do.
Because if you're not, you're the only one that's a loose cannon kind of flipping in there. Everybody else is using the rear brake to point the bike where it needs to be, and you're loose and wiggling because you're only on the front brake. So there's a lot of things. Club level racing, there's a lot of people only use the front brake. Okay, cool. So you're all safe. You're all doing the same thing. But now you're going to step up to a national endurance where you got pros and prop knobs. So you want to be ready for it. And pretty much any pro that's going any kind of speed, he knows how to use that. So we try to groove them into that that environment.
Right. Killer Kris, because two Chris's here. Killer Kris.
That's where the K come from, right?
Yeah. Y'all might want to have a parental check, man. I don't know. Y'all could be long lost brothers. But
You never know.
Hey, we all brothers, bro.
But
We are brothers.
oh yeah, you're
One
right.
love.
You're right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, so some of us win more than others. But
You have that.
Killer Kris, why is it that riders, whether it be racers or track day junkies, why do they feel like the rear brake is like a non-factor, like not even a second thought?
I mean, because you can ride around with your front brake. You can ride around, you go fast, stuff like that. But it's really not racing.
Right.
Racing is using the whole machine to its limit. So if it has a front and rear brake, you got to use both of them. That's the whole point. Like,
Right.
and you drag the rear brake so you keep the chain tight. So that way, when you let off and on the throttle, it's honking all around. If you drag the rear brake,
You don't have that pitch.
Right.
You don't have that front
range,
pitch.
you grab the throttle, you don't want it to go ooh ooh ooh. You want it to back off the throttle, So you want it to be tight. I mean, there's a lot of people like that. But see, if you grew up motocrossing, which I did, we had a track at my grandmother's house. We rode and learned how to fall down real good, and all that stuff. That was before stitches or any bone breaks, But
I know that's right.
But I mean that with that, you need to use a rear brake. And I mean, to be honest, a lot of the Harley riders, a lot of cruisers that get onto the street, they are onto the track. They're good at it because they're used to the rear brake. That's all they really ever use. They hardly ever use the front brake.
Yeah.
So like, okay, cool.
Sure.
I'm not saying any Harley riders are fast. I just can't there.
I was about to say. I was going to say, like if James Dean was still alive, he probably would have been our Valentino Rossi.
No, but yeah.
Could you imagine that? James Dean, first American
James
MotoGP.
Dean, yeah, right.
I'll take it.
Nah, but go.
That's awesome.
And by the
Yeah, because
right.
And by
because
yeah.
I notice maybe because we don't get to see everything, like all of the mechanics, but like on a World Superbike level, I'm sorry the show, but when I see Top Rack race, it's very front brake heavy. Like there's rarely a time where I see them, or at least him, use the rear brake.
There's the thing, their brakes are linked. Ours are not. You know what I mean? So like when they hit the front brake, a certain amount applies to the rear, and it probably, I'm not sure,
Kind of like ABS.
but when it's in the air, it probably doesn't have a lot of pressure on it, so it doesn't let it apply a lot. That's why it's not stopped when we see it. But when it sets down, because electronics is so good, then it probably helps apply it, and that helps keep the chain. So what a lot of people do is they'll downshift real hard on like an R6, but that would keep the chain tight. So like, there's a couple little things you can do to kind of get around it, I guess, if you want. But you know, you always want to downshift right before you get to the corner. It helps, but as you're coming out of the corner, if you can drag that brake just a little bit, when you open the throttle, it's not gonna jerk on you as much. And then as you're pointing, I learned this at the boot camp, like firsthand, Colin Edwards boot camp. As you're pointing the bike, even on the dirt where it's slick, once you get pointed, you can open the throttle and then let the rear brake off and take off, just shoot out. So it's not before that, you're like, whoa, back in around, and you're like, well, that's, you know. So it's a dance, it's a bucking bull, you know.
Do you see faster lap times when people use rear brake?
They can use, yeah. I mean, if they know how to use it.
You got to teach them how to use it.
And also, it's really good for like being around somebody. Like if you're just kind of like at the edge of everything on the front brake and loose in the rear, then you got to wait until the track lets you have that space to get past them, but go around them or whatever. Right. So it helps you just it helps you point and aim. That's a real important part. So yeah, I mean, you know, I try to teach them.
You can also drag it and tighten up your line with it too.
Right?
Correct?
Yeah. If you touch the rear brake, it pulls you in.
Yeah, it drags you in. Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down because I'm sucking at MotoGP right now. So
there you go. Apply the rear brake, baby.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I'm very front brake heavy in that game. So you see here, folks, listen to the man who wins everything. Use your rear brake.
Everything.
And I would races. So I guess coming from me, with that being said, applying the rear brake, is it difficult for your average track day junkie who's just starting to learn the mechanics of using a brake? Is it difficult for them to kind of adjust, or do you see like they kind of ease into it a little bit better? Because I know it's like a force of habit. I
say a drop in the anchor. You know, like when you're in the straightaway and you're going to go into a sharp turn, use it to slow yourself down. You know, like see what it feels like to slow yourself down with majority rear brake. Just see what it feels like. Then add the front, because again, if you happen to lock the rear brake up, step it out a little bit, let off the rear brake, it snaps. You know, so you need to figure out what's happening before you just go off rear brake. You know. And it's not a real common thing to see a lot of just normal track day guys out there using the rear brake. I like to use it like because the Dunlops are more of a plastic compound rear tire. When it's super hot, it works great. The thing that makes it a real fast tire is it doesn't flex a lot, so you spin up, you take off faster. You hold the line longer, faster, it's bigger. So like if you have a squishy tire, you're creating a lot of friction. If you have a hard tire, you create less friction, right? So you're going to turn a faster time. Right. But you got to know where to put it. That's why guys are all on the rumble strips and all over there. You got to, arch it a little more. But like coming down into turn 5 at Road America is my favorite turn for testing the rear brake stuff. So I'll come down, I'll drop 3 gears, boom, 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 let the back end slide, and let the slipper do its work. And once I feel the back end catch up, then I know I can tip in. Because if it hasn't stopped sliding, then I better not,
All right, because I play Ride 4 on my Xbox, and Road America's on there, so turn 5, drop 3 gears, rear brake, tip in. Okay, good.
Got it. Now I'm winning.
Got it.
That's great.
They let you create a player, so I'm going to create a Kris Lillegard.
We were supposed to have something at Pikes Peak. There was a Gran Turismo. We always had to run their logos, and all this stuff was going on with Gran Turismo. So, I mean, it would be awesome. I mean, they have all our footage.
Yes,
they can do something. Oh, dude. If they, maybe it's a surprise.
To put you in a game, bro.
We don't know about it.
You never know.
Like in Italy, like, oh my God, Kris Lillegard. He's in the game. He's in the game.
They don't all talk like that. Wait, I don't think they talk like that, though. They are. That's funny.
Show what you got, man?
Oh man, so when we're talking about the Isle of Man this year, Kris, what's the preparation like? Knowing that you're going to be going to the Isle of Man next year, what bike are you taking? I know you said you're going to be in the beginner class, but fill everybody in on the process and what that's going to take to get there.
Well, right now, there's
and your goals.
I'm talking to a company that like backs a rider. I haven't really figured it all out yet, but they back a rider, and what happens is they have a bike and they have the team and all this stuff, and like people will donate money. Like you donate $50, well, it goes to the rider, right? It's going to back the rider, which
I like those.
is that bill is their bill too, which I hope you're right. So the money that comes in that they've set up for you, it's kind of like a GoFundMe, kind of, but it's through this race team. So anybody who gets money, anybody
like
gets money, they get their their appreciation stuff. That it's all in there, and then the money goes for the racers to show up. So I would rather do that.
Mm-hmm.
If not, I'm probably going to finish. I got another FC07 R7, set up or whatever. So I'm probably going to build that and ship it over. But I'd much rather just ride something set up for the area. My goal is to learn the track. I'd like to ride it on I'd really honestly like to race on a 400 or a 700 versus a 600 or 1000 because it's easier. It's easier to learn at a slower speed what's going on. It's easier to make big mistakes when you're going super fast too. So
that makes sense.
We all know we can make mistakes. We don't know what we're doing. So my goal is to be ahead of that. And that's what I teach my students here and stuff. The reason I go to a mini bike track and I go to every different kind of genre, really flat track and everything for a racer, because I feel like it's all important to ride a motorcycle. Like Cody Kitchens, for example, he's one of my students over in Spain and just won. He's a rookie. He won the whole thing, and he went out to the boot camp. He went out to all the little TMGP tracks, the Texas Mini Grand Prix tracks around here. And then he started dominating, and it was awesome. His dad came out one day, and he really wants a 65, a KTM 65, and then I told him if he gets down, if he drops these 4 seconds, then we can do it, and we dropped that time in a day, So and then he got the bike in with it.
So I'm just gonna turn to the viewers real quick. If you want to get into racing and you want to win, hit up Kris Lillegard.
Hit him up. That's it.
Right. If you want to win, because you will win. Trust me.
If you want to go all the way with me, that's cool. If you want to just get started, get you going, and keep going.
All the way. I'm joking. Fucking with you. That's the thing here on this show.
For example, Rossi has his guy who's been with him this whole time, right? His trainer.
Facts.
Right? So it's like, that guy was with him all the time. So instead of having a whole bunch of different trainers, which is good to have different perspectives, but it's always good that somebody knows what your quirks are. What tips you in the wrong direction, and hopefully keeps you out of that situation. And so that's what I try to pick up with my students too. So, for example, parents can just pay me to talk to their kids if they want. They can't get to their kids. You tell me what to say to them. I'll say it. Whatever. And that's kind of the goal, is to 1, teach them how to ride. 2, teach them how to get along with their parents. Because if they ain't get along with their parents, it ain't gonna look good when they go to the next level. If they're not listening and things like that, you can see the stress. And then the parents give up. Now you got to figure it out when you get out of high school and you pay your own stuff. You know what I mean? You might have to take a loan. My goal is to try to keep it all
together.
Do I get paid on all that? Probably
so
not.
it's just.
Do I get recognition on all that? Probably not. But it's all right. It is what it is.
It's past motorcycle racing. It's prepping. It's prepping whoever.
Right.
Yeah.
I try to get all my kids.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, I try to get all my kids to mountain biking, and I like mountain biking more than I like road bikes, because road bikes, you're on the road, and every single mile there's a car next to something that takes you out. We've lost a lot of guys to that, a lot.
Not paying attention. Nikki Hayden for one.
Bodak from the boot camp. I mean, it all happens.
Kodak,
It's like, man, So mountain bike, you can ride anywhere on a mountain bike. You can ride around the track on a mountain bike, and all it's doing is creating more resistance for you, so making you stronger.
It is.
So these all important things. So my goal is to present to everybody what it is I think they need to keep up with the other guys that are out there in front of them. You know, yeah,
and win.
And
Moto,
That's
Moto
the key
America
word.
move up 10 spots right quick. You know, sitting in the back.
Yeah.
Now they moved up to like 20th. Like, ooh-wee. You know, we get a little thing about that.
I'm doing something.
But it's all right. I was coaching some guys from the phone at Barber. And it's like, dude, this is what I do in turn one. This is what I do here. And they changed that, and then they moved up. Then now they're not worried about qualifying. They're on 20. Like, whoa. So,
All right.
I want to piggyback off of that real quick about tweaking little things that will get you even more higher position. Not necessarily podium, but like you jump in front of 10, 15 guys. Everybody starts somewhere. I'm pretty sure you didn't hop on a motorcycle and just start winning. And if you did, damn.
Kinda.
But could you explain that feeling? Because my friends,
Kind of.
God damn it! You know what? Forget this question.
I grew up doing crazy shit.
No, but
that's why, you know. So
he's like, I just got on and kind of
hold my
went.
bear and watch this.
I did rodeo and all that. You know,
God
like
damn
I said, we had a track in the
That's
house, so you know.
So maybe from personal experience or through everyone else's experience, because a lot of my friends they watch different sports, right? They don't watch motorsports, so they don't see the high of coming from 20th place and how good it feels to be in like 14th or 12th. So could you explain it either through your experience or through someone else's experience why that's such a big deal to be from all the way back and to just be in like 12th or 11th, like not even top 10, but it still feels really good.
The Twin Scuff class, right? So there's factory teams helping that class. You know, Aprilia's helping it out. Suzuki's been helping it with, Team Camper building bikes, and Rocco Landers and Alex Dumas and all that. You know, they had big teams helping them. So to race against those guys are pushing 100 horsepower. I'm getting 86 out of my bike. Like, damn, And so I know for a fact that my riding is what's doing it. If I had the horsepower, I would have been up in the 5th, top 5 and stuff. So I know what that's like. So the other guys, they're coming from the club level. They really don't know, and maybe they haven't been to the track or whatever, and so it's a harder experience. Well, then they get out there and they qualify. Well, then the next year, they're running at the same time, so they get out there, and then somebody helps them out, and then they start shaving time off. Oh my gosh, and it because they didn't know where to go or how to set their bike up properly or something like that. Well, to move from the back up, you move up to a whole new group of racers. So now you're starting to talk to other guys. They're asking, man, that was fun. They come over and talk to you. And so that's a lot of fun. Anybody if you've got 30 people in the grid in a pro race, anybody in the top 15 are really good riders, obviously. Because how'd you finish the top 15? Unless everybody fell down, whatever, right?
Right.
But really good riders. Everybody behind that are good riders too, but maybe their bike is just trash. Maybe the geometry's set completely wrong. They haven't figured out anything yet. So now, being at that event, maybe somebody will come over and say, "Hey, dude, you need to take it from here and stretch it out in the front so it'll actually go through turn 1 at speed." And so it's a big deal. And then being at that event, getting that to happen, you go back to your club race. Everybody's going like, "Man, wow, you moved up to the 20. That was awesome to 20th." And then you're out there beating them hardcore, because your bike's set up now. Right. And if you don't get behind a builder, man, this is really what I'm not a fan of. If you don't get behind a builder and dump all your money into that guy and wait, even though he's busy, wait to get your bike back late or whatever, then you're kind of pushed aside to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
And then, it's like, you don't get front of the line privileges or nothing, and you're probably not going to be in the top 5, even at club level.
Right.
So it's like, my goal is to try to teach my students, for example, that have done contracts with me and are serious about it. I want them to understand the bike, because if they go over to Italy, and it's us versus them, essentially, right? So there's all these spec bikes, and then the Americans keep getting these trash ones.
Yeah.
Right? How are you going to ride the trash one? Don't whine about it. You got the opportunity to go fast. How are we going to set it up to make it go fast for you?
Absolutely.
It's trash. So we got to start stretching it out and test that, and see what we can do. So if they know if they have a little bit of arsenal, then they can go out and put on a good show. If they have no idea, then they're gonna go over then they're gonna go over there and be upset, maybe not want to do it anymore. So
Right.
Not
Exactly.
having
right,
fun.
life's not fair. We all know that, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
And
It's not.
before I pass it to you, the show. I have two things that come from that, right? Now, Kris. Oh, shoot, you went dark.
Low battery. Ooh, better plug it in.
Oh no.
Hey.
So, Kris, aside from motorsports, you're into baseball, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh well, I was watching baseball.
Oh, you're watching baseball.
I played baseball all the way up, and then I played like softball in the military with my
Right.
command or whatever. But like, anytime a good. Here's the deal: if we win, then the traffic is going to be less pissed off. How about that?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what's important. We don't want a bunch of mad
The freaking
road
Astros.
race guys. Right?
Yeah.
So when they're all
Right.
excited and celebrating, they're less likely to be angry for a month or so. Whatever.
Exactly.
So,
Right.
Well, New York is like that all the time. But what the point I'm getting
well, you
at
know
is
why, right? They win.
Yeah.
Because I did.
The freaking Yankees, bro. The Yankees blew that.
I know what
Yeah, because it's freaking. Like, I'm not a big baseball fan, but come on, New York, we need something, yo. So the reason why I asked if you were into baseball is because as Americans, we're very into like our own sports, right? Like basketball, football, and whatever. And the point that I brought up with like celebrating a 15th place coming from like 20, 21, 23 is because in American sports we only care about the winners. We only care about who wins. We don't go and say like, well, the Astros were 4th in ranking this year, so I'm happy for them. Like,
Right.
no, nobody says that. So,
Right.
what I like to explain to my friends is that the work, the little tweaks in the geometry, everything, all the little stuff to get you from 23rd to 15th, 14th, 11th, 12th, whatever. It pays dividends, and I guess that's where the good feeling is coming from. Because you're like, man, I made that jump, and I'm happy that I hit top 15. Now let's see if we could crack top 10.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
See, the thing is no one knows what you're struggling with.
Yeah.
No one knows that you have a garbage bike. So they just see you go to the pro level. They think you got the best. You should have, but they think you got the best stuff you
Right.
can get or the best money can buy. Well, a lot of people don't have money, man. I didn't really have a lot of money,
Yeah.
so I couldn't buy the best bike.
Right.
I had 2 KTM 790s lined up, ready to go, and then they didn't homologate it, even though they said they were going to. So it's like, all right, well, damn. So I went out to California and picked up Andy Palmer's first ever built FCO7, FCO7R or whatever.
And the
it
Twins
was like
Cup.
yard
Right.
sale right before I got it. So the swing arm was bent. There was a lot of stuff going on that I had to figure out on a budget.
Right.
Right? So I got instead of spending $1,000 on triples and buying a swing arm and all that stuff, I got to buy gas and the entry fees and all that stuff to the race. So
Yeah.
I showed up to the first couple of rounds with a bent swing arm. Even at Road America, we had a bent swing arm still. So we changed that right after that, and everything started kind of falling into place when we started changing the geometry of it. And
Yeah.
at the end of the season, I could afford the $1,000 offset triples. So I got them, and I'm like, dude, wow, this thing is actually turning now.
Makes a big difference.
Like a hippopotamus or something out there on the track. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
A
Yeah.
water heater.
I got a lot more feel. She's not so heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Right.
So yeah. So
I do.
it's little things that happen like that. Maybe you shouldn't be there. A lot of people, you shouldn't be there. And then, well, if I'm not there, who's going to help you pay the light bill?
Yep.
You got to pay 3 guys. Got to split it
Facts.
3 ways instead of 100 ways. So we're trying
Right.
to get more people to
Right.
go. And if you're there, you might get pop on the TV, and man, you be watching it later on, like, ooh, that's me on TV. It makes you feel good, right?
And
Yeah, damn right it does.
in your opinion, and I know this is probably a heavy loaded question, but what do you think motorsports? You know what? Let's just say, motorsports in general. What do you think they can do to help kind of level out the playing field a little better, to help those little teams be a little bit more competitive?
If they would make if pro racing in the stock, let's say stock class,
Yeah.
truly stock, had like a couple parts on it, like rear sets, clip-ons, exhaust, and air filter.
That's it.
And it was all sponsored by the brand. And then it was like installed in metal zip tied or whatever, and you couldn't touch it, and everybody got the same thing. Then you would see the rider at that point.
Yes, I agree.
You know what I mean? So if that would happen, then people could afford it. You go, okay, $30,000. I got to go take out a loan for $30,000. So I'm buying a true opportunity to show what I can.
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
But what happens there is little tricks come out, and it never ends up that way. It's like, oh, we're gonna do this ECU box. Well, some people get the ECU box and some people don't. It's just
a vicious cycle.
Right. So
it's a vicious cycle.
I would love to see, and if I ever get some money where it's available, I'd love to go get 2 of each brand bike, and at first not change nothing.
Right.
Just set the geometry up nice, change the tires out and the fairings, and say, let's go start this series and see who's fast.
I agree.
Quiet. You can race it at Laguna with no problem.
Stock exhaust, everything.
So and then the bikes aren't going to blow up. You can just get it.
Yeah, I agree because.
Well, isn't that the definition of a true super stock class? Though it's super stock.
But they've added so many different options that that's. If electronics,
it's not super stock
hard
anymore.
Because if electronics are wrong, no matter what, your biking will work like everybody else.
You're not going nowhere.
Yeah, because coming into the sport, when I saw like stock 1000, I thought that these were bikes that just were bought from the showroom floor, not tinkered with, unless you're adjusting like the rear sets and whatever to the rider, and just with the livery slapped on.
Sure.
But boy, I was hella wrong. There's a lot of shit that gets added to these bikes, and I'm just like, my first time Oh yeah, because my first time watching, I think I saw, was it Washington with Corey Alexander? I was like, why is he so much faster than everyone when they all have a factory showroom bike? And then when I went to Moto America and I asked Cam Peterson when he was racing stock that time, he was like, no, there's some shit added to these bikes. And I'm like, so then it's not completely stock.
You got a $30,000 stock bike, now you got a $50,000 stock bike too. And then a super bike is $120,000, just to get on the grid.
Right.
That's
so crazy.
I mean, which is awesome if that's what we're building up to. But to get people started, I mean, a lot of people just get burnt out, and discouraged to push forward anymore because it's like, man, there's no way I can keep up with those guys.
You're battling an uphill battle the whole time.
Right.
Yeah. In my opinion, racing would be more entertaining
out of it.
if they,
something that would get
because then it's all about skill.
Something that would make it hard for me is I know what I paid for it. I know what it took to get there. And then it would get bummed up or scratched up or something, and then I would lose my mind because I'm like, dang, I can't just replace it, Like, what am I going to do? I got to run around with a dent in my rim or something or whatever,
I agree.
And so it's,
it's buns.
Yeah.
Show.
But if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right?
That is
exactly.
Fact.
It would be baseball.
It is. You're right. It'd be baseball.
Right.
Or golf.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or golf.
Okay. Right.
My bad. Show. My bad. Because in basketball, the Lakers don't use a better leather basketball when they play versus the Houston Rockets. You know what I mean?
Right.
They all play with the same exact basketball. So why can't?
No.
Right,
bro. I had Shaqs, man. Y'all had Jordans, and I had Shaqs back in the day. I
had two pairs of
black
Jordans.
and blue, and I'm a black and blue, man. I love that color.
Let's get Jordan back in motorsports again, man. Because I'm like
Jordan back. Get Jordan in there and Shaq, and they could be against each other or whatever all the time. I'm cool
Shaq can afford it. Shaq can afford a race team.
Exactly.
Could you imagine?
I got most of the stuff. He ain't got to spend much money putting his name on it now.
Freaking! Could you imagine like a factory Amazon team or like a factory Google team?
Right.
That bike will look sick.
Or Netflix.
Ooh, a Netflix bike would look so sick.
Netflix and thrill. What do they call that one?
Netflix. There you go. Sign,
That's right.
sign Killer Chris. He wins everything.
That's it.
Show.
Netflix.
I'm gonna hand the floor over to you. Show.
So, when you're teaching people, Chris, and somebody comes to you and was like, hey, I want to transition from a 400 to 600 cc bike, obviously the riding style is going to be the same, but the technique's going to be different because the bikes are more powerful and a little bit heavier, right? So what do you focus on when somebody comes to you and you're training them to adjust from a 400 to 600? I can't imagine it's a whole lot, but I'm sure, body position, breaking a little bit later, a little bit, here or whatever
well,
it may be.
The 400s, they have a little bitty dinky suspension. So I teach people to lean off on those little bikes a lot because if you get your weight over here, the suspension that is there can recover faster when you're not on top of them, right?
Right.
Like a super bike or a 600 or something, it's a lot better suspension, so you don't have to lean off as much. And you can lean off in the last minute and tilt the bike and get it out of there faster, but you don't want to be all the way over for a long ways. A lot of trucks are bumping.
Right.
So you don't want to be coming into a corner like this. Wait. If you're over here, less likely to be so dangerous, unsettled.
Right.
So I try to teach that, and then the good news is they've been on this little bike. They got quarter speed down, so they don't nervous to be on their knee high speed. So it's good that you get that out of the way first before you go tip it in on a big bike for the first time. And now you're like, oh, what's that sensation? My knee's dragging, Then you start thinking about that more than anything else.
Right.
Because it's exciting.
Right. Because it feels good.
You're like, I'm dragging my knee. I'm fast as balls. Hell yeah. John McGinnis, watch out.
I've been missing it a little bit because there's been a lot of events out here. Last couple of weeks we had 24 hours of limits. Travis Pastrana and those guys were out here racing.
I've seen the videos.
The legend.
So, like, the track
Travis Pastrana.
It's been a car track for a while, so I'm jonesing a little bit. But
oh man,
heck yeah.
I've always wanted to feel the sensation of dragging knee and dragging elbow. I feel like such a badass.
Ain't nothing like
Right.
it.
I don't so much show dragging elbow because I like to be pushing the bike up. If your elbow's on the ground, now it's like, and if you don't have the suspension or the technician behind it to set the bike up for that, which most stock bikes aren't, it's much better to be that way so that way it can push versus stiff,
Yeah.
So, and I don't have any.
You see it on Instagram all the time. Yeah, because you see it on Instagram all the time. Like people buy these really brand spanking new bikes, and they will go like in the canyons and start elbow dragging.
Right.
Yep.
And then they catch traction in hindsight.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
I saw one. This dude wrecked his like special edition R1. It was like that yellow one.
Oh man.
Was it what year was that? Like 2015?
50th Yeah, 50th anniversary.
So he was elbow dragging. I think this was like in California on the canyon, and then he was low. It was looking good, and then the rear tire like slipped a little bit, and then caught traction, and then launched him off, and that bike got trashed.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Pull the hot side, baby.
But
I was like, why risk your neck out there like that, man? I know I'm not the best advocate for it, because like I've tried to knee drag on the street.
Yeah, right.
So but to elbow drag on the street, let alone a dirty canyon on a sub $50,000 bike. I don't know how much it's worth.
Yeah.
A lot of money. Like you would never catch me.
I mean, the only time I ever dragged my knee on the street was at Pikes Peak. I don't really drag my knee on the street because you got to be on top of the bike, ready for anything to happen on the street.
Yeah.
Versus the track, you know it's all the same every lap. So it's like, you can get comfortable and pull it.
Nothing's coming at you.
Right.
Yeah, you got to worry about potholes and animals right in front of you, cars, or any of that gravel. None of that shit. Right, you ain't got to worry about any of that.
Unless little Bambi sneaks through.
You just pin in the gas, baby.
He's finished.
All
right, gentlemen, so we're almost hitting the 1 hour mark here. So, Chris, I don't want to take up too much of your time, man. It is a joy and pleasure to have you back here. We definitely want you back here again for the technically third time.
47th.
The 47th episode, baby.
473, you see? 47. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Absolutely. Yeah.
So before we close it out, either Chris's, do you guys have anything that you want to say to the viewers? Anything to get off your chest?
I just want to let everybody know, man, everybody that watches the podcast, that shows all the love on Facebook, I really appreciate it. Me and Jules and everybody does. The whole community within Moto America, not just that, all the other racers and people involved that get involved with us around the world. Much love. I highly appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
And also to my friend, I'm truly blessed to have a friend as Kris Lillegard here, and the adventures we went on when I helped him race in Moto America that time. And I'm truly blessed for the friendship that we have and we developed from it, and the stories that he says. And I need everybody here to go check out Kris Lillegard, get on his Coach KK.
Yeah, man.
Check him out, give him a follow, hit him up, and learn how to
And
ride
win.
fast and pin the gas, baby,
And win. The Texas
I want
Wildcard.
to see you guys at Coda, and we can do a pin the gas from the RV or something. You know, I can set up a day.
You heard it. You heard it.
Yeah.
It's on record.
Yeah, and
We're doing
we
it.
can pick up a
So-
bunch of riders, you know, until we get to that 47, then I'll do mine.
Yeah,
We
so
can do
that really means I'm not volunteering this year. Show.
That's right, Jules.
Yeah,
There's
no
volunteering
volunteering
for
anymore.
you.
Because I told the show, I was like, the reason why I'm in Coda a lot is because I volunteer trackside.
Well, you can do it after hours, you know. We'll just be a beer deep. That's all it is. Yeah, or two.
Yeah, because show was like you should go there as a spectator, and I'm like, yeah, but there's like this camaraderie between like marshals, like.
yeah.
If I was a spectator just sitting back behind like turn 18 and I look at the marshals there and I'm just like, damn, I'm supposed to be here with you guys.
Well, you know, you already got like a team almost, you know. You've been a part of the team for a couple of years now, so
We do.
might as well. We can always do it afterwards. You go to work, then we'll do it. It's like, oh, you still have your stuff on, bro.
That's true.
Official.
Oh yeah, it'll be good for the video. I'll probably just do like I told Show, I was like, I'll probably just do what did I say? I said qualifying and race.
Qualifying and race day. Yeah.
And then just leave free practice for myself.
Well, we're gonna have a big old party out there like we do every year. So you guys definitely got to come, and we'll tell everybody. You know, everybody's got to get a wristband to get into the area anyway. So tell everybody to come through, get a wristband, and then we'll have concessions of some sort, like
Sweet.
some food and some drinks and stuff. But it'll all be it'll be like a live, pit the gas because everybody's sitting around talking about racing and everything. So
That's right.
Baby, Chris, I can eat.
Yeah.
I can eat, bro.
We eat too much, man. I think we gotta eat too.
I'm about to get like really good shape so I can show up like shirtless.
Right?
I was like, let's go. Just around the campfire. Yeah, y'all can't see my physique right now, but I
You
work.
in the gym with your friends and stuff. All right.
Yo, honestly,
awesome.
I'm thinking about making that character a full-time character of the show. I don't know. Yeah, I did. People liked it, and I was like, it was just a Halloween costume, yo. But people at the gym were loving it, and like, especially like when they see some guy with like an afro, like deadlifting 325 pounds.
LMFA ho.
You're like, oh shit. That's it.
Someone called me the Weekend. I was like,
Oh, there you go.
But,
That's awesome.
I was like, bro, I'm too Asian for that. But Sir Kris, the Texas Wildcard Lillegard, thank you so much for coming through, bro. This is gonna work this time. I swear to God, I will sue Riverside. No, I'm just kidding. But
Well, what we need to start doing is pre-recorded the whole
We will
time.
come
That
and
way we
get
get it anyways.
that's also true. That's also true. But I'm pretty sure.
Never thought
I'm pretty sure
about
we'll be
that.
all right, boys.
Awesome. Well, I hope to see you guys here.
Season 2.
Let me know.
Yeah. My whole time. Season 2, episode 1. Season 2, episode 1 with Kris Lillegard. What a way to kick it off season 2, right? Shit.
Because
We're winning. What the
winning.
fuck? Like, he's here. We're winning.
Like Ricky
That's
Bobby,
right.
if you ain't first, they're last. And we are
I
first.
found out later on. Yeah, right.
Yeah, later on, but no, that's not enough.
Dude, Chris, thank you so much, man. I appreciate the time, brother. Now, for everybody watching this, Season 2, Episode 1, Kris, Texas Wildcard, Lillegard, please let us know how you feel down in the comments below. If my mic sounds good, please tell me how buttery smooth my voice sounds in the comments down below. If you think Lillegard wins too much, leave it in the comments.
If you think I don't, challenge me to something. Whatever.
challenge him.
Whatever. You know?
Bring it,
I'm not
baby.
gonna be the one that's mad if I don't win. You're gonna be the one that's mad to challenge me. That's all I gotta say. So whatever. All right.
You heard it here, folks. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Pin the Gas podcast. Season 2 is starting on fire, and I can't wait to see who else my man The Show brings on this show. For those watching, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace.
Brap.